So we're going to welcome Coinneach MacLeod, who's I'm sure lots of you know who he is already, but he's a bit of a sensation. You might have seen him on ITV this morning, and tonight he's ably assisted by his partner Peter and their Westie Shorus.
Falcha, everybody. Welcome from the Isle of Lewis, from the wee village of Cromoa, on the southeast coast of the Isle of Lewis. I'm Coinneach, the Hebridean Baker, and tonight we've got three really lovely, wholesome and simple recipes. But as Pauline said, make it as interactive as possible. Ask questions. I'm going to ask you questions, so react, comment, and share ideas. Remember, I always love hints and tips that you have for recipes as well. So any ideas that you would include in some of these recipes, I'd be delighted to hear from them as well. But as Pauline said, all three recipes are from my second cookbook, which is the Hebridean Baker, My Scottish Island Kitchen. Now, this is the important first question. Who recognizes that tartan? Put in the chat bar if you know what tartan I'm wearing. I know my name might slightly give it away, but from that, there's a few MacLeod tartans. So does anybody know what that MacLeod tartan is? So that's the first test of the night. Now we're going to do three recipes tonight. As I said, we're going to make, and I love this dish. For those of you who have my cookbook, it's in the cozy weekend dishes, and it is my savory flapjacks. Oh my goodness. Now, I don't know if I have any Americans in the room tonight, and I do apologize. Some things are lost in translation. Flapjacks in the UK are the kind of oaty slices. I know flapjacks in the US, I found out when about 8,000 people told me that they are pancakes. But these are definitely oaty flapjacks with cheese and leeks and cashews, and they're just delicious. But I'm actually going to start with a Shetland dish, and I'm just trying to find it here for you in the book. And here it is here. It's a real classic spiced tea loaf. The reason I've chosen it, firstly, because I love the name. And if we do have anybody from Shetland here today, I actually met somebody from Walsey at Brodie Country Fair when I was doing my book signing. And I said, oh, I have a Shetland recipe in my book. She goes, oh, which one? And I said, it's Hufsie. And she went, Coinneach, it's Hufsie. Oh. So I'm glad I made that. But a Hufsie is from the island of Wallasey, which I think is Falsoy, the Vikings called it, and which is the island of Wales. And similarly, if you do get there, you'll see whales jumping about you on the ferry before you get there. But the reason I'm starting with that, as with many, and I'm going to take that from you because I need you to go and get some black treacle from me. As with many spicy loaves, if you want to make them quickly, it is great to be able to warm up the ingredients as you put them in. So I'm going to, when Peter comes back, I knew I'd forget one thing. I forgot the black treacle. I'm going to put most of the ingredients into a pan. So if you are like writing down the ingredients as you go, the first few I'm going to put in is 100 grams of soft brown sugar. And I do love the soft brown sugar because it's going to give that kind of really kind of treacly kind of taste to the Hufsie to go along with the black treacle, along with, oh, thank you so much. Phew. So let's go first with, well, first I'm going to make sure I know how to switch this on. There we go. I got this unbelievably in IKEA and I absolutely love it. So I'm actually going to start with the 100 grams of butter that are going to go into the pan. And the great thing with this one is if you do forget to soften your butter, don't worry, because it's going to go into the pan, so you don't have to. And then I'm going to put the 100 grams of soft brown sugar. Now, go with the black treacle. Always a challenge to get it out. If anybody has any good tips of how to get black treacle off your spoon, please put them in the chat bar. I always end up just eating it and eating just black treacle. I don't know how good that is for you. So this is going to be a tablespoon, but you can see I'm putting a hearty one in because I know that most of it will not even get off the spoon. So there we go. So that's one kind of hearty tablespoon of black treacle. Now, as you can see, that's going to bubble away. And probably what I would do is I'd let all that come together before you put in your final of these ingredients, which is your mixed dried fruit. Now, I usually just get, you get the big bags of mixed dried fruit, which is sultanas and currants and raisins and some mixed peel. If it's harder to get that, you can make the recipe with sultanas or whichever dried fruit is your favorite. But you can see here, look how quickly the black treacle has come together in the pan, which is exactly what we want. And then we're going to get the dried fruit, put that in. Now, here is the thing. Normally you would think, okay, all he's going to do is get that in the pan, warm it up, let the butter soften, and that's all we need to do. But actually, with the Hufsie, you're going to cook that for about 5 to 6 minutes. So look at that, that's pretty thick, and that's starting to warm up. And the only thing left to put in is a little bit of water. I think that's about 150 mils of just cold water just now that's going to go in. And I'm going to bring that up to a simmer. And actually, that is going to simmer for about, I would say about 5 minutes, actually. 5 to 6 minutes, that's going to simmer. And the reason we're doing it that way is really just to get all the flavors to congeal together, the butter, the treacle, the brown sugar. And this you can do in advance because we're going to let that cool as well before we put the rest of the ingredients in. So that is all going on. So while that is going to start bubbling away, I'll just tell you, for those of you who maybe don't know enough or much about me, as I said, my name is Coinneach. I know for many of you, and I know Pauline even said, how do you say your name? And it's funny because on the island, Coinneach is a very common traditional name. And don't laugh, it's the Gaelic word for handsome. Right. And I'm sure when I was a 2-year-old baby, I was pretty cute. It's gone downhill since then. So my poor mother, I'm sure she was quite disappointed that I made the wrong choice of name very quickly. But so as I said, I'm from the Isle of Lewis, and I started creating recipes, traditional recipes and stories online about 2.5 years ago. And really this came, and the inspiration came from my aunt Bella, who's 94, who lives in the next village in Maravik. And, she was telling me stories she was making. Come with me, actually. I'll show you a picture of her while we're talking. She was telling me stories about her favorite recipes. And of course, the most favorite of all island bakes, which is the duff, the clooty dumpling. And that is my Aunt Bella. Isn't she an absolute superstar? 94, still bakes every day for her husband, who is 95. So I think the way to a long life, that's my first book, by the way. The way to a long life is clooty dumpling.
Yeah.
So that is definitely, if anybody is looking for the secret to a long life, then it's definitely clooty dumpling. So
Coinneach, I've got some questions for you. Well, I've got some tips actually.
yeah.
Lots of ladies have said warm the spoon first. Yeah.
Good shout.
A lot of them have
Yes.
said. A lot of them said dip the spoon in boiling water because it's a combination of the heat and the boiling water that the water that takes it off. And other people have said oil the spoon. All
Oil
right?
the spoon.
Oil the
Yeah.
spoon. And
Yes.
then treacle or golden syrup won't stick then. All right. So that's your
Good
tips.
shout.
And
Good
then
shout. Thank
the
you, everybody.
the questions that the people have so far is what weight of dried fruit did you put in because they've missed that?
Oh, yes, it was 200 grams. There's quite a lot of dried fruit.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, so I'm a big fan of a 1 pound loaf tin. Okay. I go around the world talking about 1 pound loaf tins actually. And but this is the recipe for a 2 pound loaf tin. Or if you're like me, I'm going to use two 1 pound loaf tins. And the reason I love a 1 pound loaf tin is, well, have I got, yeah, here they are here. So they're pretty dinky,
Yeah.
but you know, for me, I want a new cake every day. I want a new flavor cake every day. So the fact that that's going to be, I don't know what, 6 normal slices, or for me and Peter, maybe, well, me and Peter would probably cut that in half. No, that would be like 4 very large slices. I think that's enough for one cake, you know, and it's the perfect size if you're gifting a cake as well to a friend or family. So, but this is the recipe for a 2 pound cake. But if you want, and I'll explain the difference of time in the oven if you plan to do it that way. Okay.
And that was added to a hearty a large spoonful of treacle. And how much butter?
Of treacle?
How much treacle and how much butter did you have in your pan?
Oh yeah, so it's 100 grams of soft brown sugar, 100 grams of butter, 1 hearty tablespoon of black treacle, the 200 grams of mixed dried fruit, and remember there was about 150 mils of cold water that went. So, and that's going to bubble away for about 5 minutes or so. And I mean, if you have the luxury, which we might not fully tonight, but if you have the luxury of time, you're going to want that to cool nearly completely. Okay. Now, luckily, I'm going to put that in the next room because it's cold here tonight. So actually, this might chill if I put it in the other room. So that is nearly done. Okay. Now, if you can all manage it, I'm going to go to the next recipe while that's cooling. Will you all survive if I do that?
Yes. If you tell us if it was light or dark soft brown sugar, it was light, wasn't it?
Light, yes. Light soft brown sugar. Absolutely. Yes. But
that's
the one,
just
to make sure, not golden caster sugar, but the kind of, the one that looks, you can squeeze it together, the kind of soft brown sugar. So I'm going to take that off the pan just now, and I'm just going to move that next door, so you don't need to see me do that. A few seconds.
Cut away to the dog. Hello, sorry. How old is Doris, Peter?
He's 15.
15.
Oh. He's a wee bot that.
Okay, so while that's cooling, we're going to go on to our it was our first recipe, but now it's our second recipe, which is our savory flapjacks. And honestly, this for me is one of my favorites. Picnics, going up the hills, lunchtime, but these are my savory oat cakes here. For those of you who don't have my cookbook, do you know what? As much as obviously I'm always going to encourage you to go into an independent bookshop. Some of my favorites include the bookshop in Ullapool, for those of you who are maybe venturing to the islands. If you're going to the islands this summer or from Easter onwards, my books are always available in the Harris Distillery, in the Island Spirit Whiskey Shop, a lot of alcohol involved in things in the islands. But at the moment on Amazon, it is half price. It's only £13 on Amazon at the moment. So, and look, it must be only, 10 months till Christmas. So,
Yeah.
you know, time to start looking at your Christmas presents. So, we are going to start on the Savory flapjacks. And the first thing I'm going to do is chop up a leek and get it into this pan. I'll just actually put the butter into the pan first, so that can bubble away a little bit. And then chop up your leeks, and you can chop them up pretty chunky. And the great thing with this recipe, I'm going to show you what I recommend you put in it. But really, once you see it, you'll realize you can throw pretty much anything you've got in the cupboard into this recipe. So those leeks there are going to soften away. When they get a little bit softer, I'm going to put some smoked paprika in them. That's totally optional. I just like that little burst of warmth in these flapjacks. So I will do that, but I'm just going to let them kind of like, just soften a wee bit before I do that. So just let the butter do the work in there. So while that is happening, I'm going to get a big bowl. So that's one large leek that's gone in there. And now we're going to get the rest of the ingredients for the savory flapjacks. Rolled oats, always big. The chunkier, the better. And, I do love Scott's porridge oats, but I must admit, I do is it Flavins, the Irish rolled oats? Yeah. Oh, they are good. I know it's supposed to be, all about Scotland, but Ireland, you do some great stuff as well. So,
thanks.
Again, I know there's some really good local, kind of like independent makers of oats. If anybody knows anybody who makes really nice, big, chunky rolled oats, again, please put it in the comments, because I know people sometimes tell me at book signings and I forget. So if there's anywhere local that you get your rolled oats, please let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for some more of those. So that is 200 grams of rolled oats that I'm going to put into the bowl there. Now, we've got our carrots, and I think it's 150 grams of grated carrot. I'm going to say it's about that much, okay? It's about 2 medium-sized carrots that are going to go into this bowl, okay? Now, I probably don't need the spoon with the black treacle to do this, so I'll use my fork. There we go. And always keep an eye on your leeks. How do you do that? I'm just going to throw in a little bit of smoked paprika. Actually, do you know what? For the recipe, I just put in 1/4 teaspoon, or certainly a heaped 1/4 teaspoon. I just like a little bit of the color. If you do like smoked paprika, add more in, or you can put in pepper. You just want something to give that extra flavor. So there you go. That's working perfectly there. So the carrots and the oats are in there together. Then I've got mixed seeds. Now, what's in there? You've got pumpkin seeds. What else can I see in there? Sunflowers. There we go. There is about 35 grams in there that's going in. Now, you could keep a few extra. I would probably say put 30 grams into the recipe and 5 grams from the sprinkle on top before you put them into the oven. So that's going to go into the oats and carrots. And give that a good stir. And then I have cashew nuts. Now, these are a bit of a treat, I must admit. And when I went to the supermarket in Stornoway, it's not always easy to get all the ingredients I want when I'm in Stornoway. And I hadn't intended to get roasted, salted cashews, but they're amazing. But now I know how amazing roasted salted cashews are in this recipe. I'm always going to use roasted salted cashews. But if you can't get those, then just plain cashews are great as well. And you're just going to really chop them in half. You want the different textures that's going to come from the different ingredients there. So you want that bit of crunch, the softness that's going to come from the leeks and the carrots. Thank you very much. Look, it does make a difference with having a little bit of paprika in there.
A bit of colour.
It is a little bit of colour. I also want to ask everybody who has been, firstly to the Edinburgh Hebrides, then who has been to the Isle of Lewis. And for those of you who have been to the Isle of Lewis, I want you to put into the chat bar your most favorite thing you did there, like hints and tips of where you ate. You know, I know many of you know, say, the Coinneach Stones, but did you go to the Carloway Broch? Did you go to the Norse Mill and Kiln? So put into the chat bar where you stayed, your favorite spot. Did you go and see the amazing
Lewis
chessmen at Lewis Castle? I make a very good queen. So there's obviously lots to do, but put it in, because I know many of you will be thinking of going to the islands this summer. If you are, of course, please do book your ferries early, because ferries, as you know, are like hen's teeth at the moment in Scotland. So make sure you book early. And Pauline, you can tell me what favourite places people have been to.
They're coming in thick and fast.
Amazing.
So San says she went to a wedding on the beach at Burnabra.
Oh,
yeah. Burnabra.
In Burnabra, yeah.
Oh, Burnabra, right, okay.
I'm guessing Burnabra, yeah.
Yeah. She said Burnabra and put bra in capital letters. Carloway Broch, says Lindsay, stayed with our friend, wonderful island. Colette said, I worked in the hospital during COVID and loved it. The best place I've ever worked, loved the place, the nicest people ever. Sophie said, swimming in the sea, Weaver's Cottage in Ness. That sounds lovely. James has said Uig Beach was the best place in Lewis. Coinneach, also an amazing place. Yeah. I would second that. It's a lovely place, Coinneach. And Diane says she's been to Lewis and Harwich. Coinneach, amazing views. Saw the Lewis chessmen at the museum. Also went to St Kilda, favourite place. So.
Wow.
Have you been to St Kilda yet?
No, I'm hoping Peter's going to take me for my birthday. That's a hit.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about birthdays, can everybody wish Peter a happy birthday for tomorrow?
Oh, happy birthday, Peter! For tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
Now, I was going to say something there.
Oh, yeah, Michelle has said she had dinner at Gregor's. What's Gregor's?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
that is great.
Yeah.
Well,
she stayed with Gregor in Coinneach and had dinner at Gregor's. It was fabulous.
Amazing. He is amazing. I love Gregor. Well, for those of you who do love the islands and maybe are looking for some inspiration, a wee bit of exclusive, exciting news.
Oh, yeah.
For the past 3 days, I've been working in front of the camera. I've got a new little job, which is to be a presenter on the TV show This Morning on ITV. And so it's either going to be from next week or the week after. I'll make sure I share this. I hope all of you follow me on Instagram. I put most of my info about tours, events, and things on Instagram, which is just Hebridean Baker. And I'll make sure I let you know it's going to be over 3 different weeks. The first episode is going to be about the Isle of Paris. And I'm making cocktails and I'm making whiskey cakes. Then my second episode is going to be on the west coast, so Coinneach Stones, Garran and Blackhouse Village. And I think I'm making Cullen Skink. And episode 3 is going to be in Stornoway, which was amazing. I was allowed to go out in a boat. I go, of course, and get the best black pudding in the world at Charlie Barley's, Charles MacLeod Butchers. So lots and lots of fun as well. And I even get to get a new Harris tweed suit. So stay tuned for that on This Morning in the next couple of weeks. So look at this. The leeks are absolutely perfect now, nice and soft. I'm going to let them cool. This one, there we go. We've just got a couple more ingredients left to put in here. And here we got, of course, lots of cheese. Now, again, just see what's in your fridge. I've got 2 cheeses here, 125 grams of cheddar. I use mature cheddar. And I've got about 50 grams of Parmesan. But definitely, you want to kind of one gooey cheese that's going to kind of congeal and connect it all together. But you want big, hearty flavor. So mature cheddar, Parmesan works absolutely perfectly here. So that's going to go in. And you know what? You know how we were talking about loaf tins and all that kind of thing? I actually use a 2-pound loaf tin to make this, because they come out the perfect size and you can put the slices there. Oh. So the only ingredient left to go in is eggs, because eggs is going to be what kind of congeals and joins all this together. I'm going to put in 3 eggs. So
someone's just asked, could you freeze this?
Yes, this would work very well. I would slice it first before you freeze it. Yes. But it would work very, very well as a frozen one. Yep.
Could you just sorry, darling. Could you just remind us the weight of the cashews that you added? Was it 100
yes.
grams?
It was 50 grams of cashews. And again, remember, all these things, I'm very conscious there's folk that might not either like nuts or they might have a bit of an allergy. For me, the cashews is a wee bit of a treat. Yes. But again, with so much of the things here, you know what, as well, I'm trying to be polite, but I always just use my hands from now on. So you really want to get this kind of all the egg into the oats.
Someone's asked, could you do it without cheese? Look shocked.
I'm trying to think cheese. Why. I'm sure that it is a valid reason why somebody would not have cheese.
Dairy free.
Obviously, I'm heartbroken for anybody who can't eat cheese. I would grate cheese in my cornflakes if I could. If anybody, you know, I'm going to be totally honest with you. A lot of people do ask me about different dietary requirements, and you know, I'm what I always say is I'm a passionate home baker, and there's some things I don't have lots of expertise in, and so I leave that to people who are. There's lots of great chefs that do amazing gluten-free recipes, although or dairy-free recipes. But at the same time, a lot of people say that they've been able to transfer my recipes, you know, to make them gluten-free, which is great. But dairy-free. I mean, just for the one who asked, is there any substitutes or that you've used before that could work? Because that'll be great for other people to know about.
There are some fabulous. I live with a family of vegans. There are some fabulous vegan cheeses, like Marks and Spencer's do really good vegan cheese. And you get a really good, like you said, you need a gooey cheese. They do a really good gooey cheddar, a dairy-free one. And they also do a good hard cheese. And Lidl and Aldi do very good vegan hard cheeses.
That is so good to know. That is so good to know. So hopefully that helps, because I often get those types of questions. So the next time I'm on the mainland, I'm definitely going to check those out, because there's nothing better when you're from an island than going to a mainland supermarket. Yeah. It's like we've just left the Soviet Union.
We've actually gone one better because Valinus has said left coast culture do great vegan cheese. They're based in the Highlands but available across Scotland. So there we go. That's one to remember.
Really
And I've
good.
got a couple of wee questions. What size of egg? Does it matter?
I put in 3 medium eggs. But to be honest with you, if you've only got large,
Doesn't matter.
it's not going to hurt the recipe at all, because as you can see, there is a lot of the oats that are going to kind of soak up all the ingredients. And look, so I've very rustically just put some bacon or greaseproof paper into the 2-pound loaf tin there, and then from that, I'm just going to fill it. Now, this is going to go into the oven at 170 fan. Which I guess if you don't have a fan oven, that's about 190. And really what you're looking for is for the top to get all kind of golden. And honestly, you're going to smell it. You're going to smell all the cheese and the flavors from the oven. It's amazing. But I would say that's probably going to take about 30 minutes to get to the color that you want. So press that down. You want it because you want to be able to slice this. Okay. Oh my goodness! I actually think I could probably eat this right now.
Yeah.
I know the oats would be a bit tough, but oh my goodness, the smell of the leeks already slightly warming the cheese is an absolute delight here. So that's all pretty kind of firm. Now I've got a few extra mixed seeds here, and I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. Just be careful. Obviously, if you have your oven too high, those might catch and burn. So just be careful that your oven is the right temperature for those. If you're going to put the mixed seeds on top, but that is going to go into the oven. As I said, now you could now put that in the fridge overnight and chill it and do it in the morning. Lots of different options. But here's some good news. Here's one I made earlier.
Hey.
I always wanted to. So I made this one earlier. I haven't actually looked at it yet, apart from taking it out of the loaf tin. So I'm really going to hope this works. But there you go. Nice and golden on top. And fingers crossed, this is going to slice really, really well. I'll take a couple of slices here. So look at that. You get the little flecks of carrot, of leek, all the seeds in there, and the cheese and eggs. So it's kind of a mix between, a flan, a flapjack. I'm going to try a wee bit here. I've been dreaming of this all day. Oh, look at that. Look how it pulls apart.
Gooey, yeah, gooey. Lovely.
There we go. That is so nice. Now,
Someone said, could you add bacon crumbles or lardons to the mix? Could you do that?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That sounds amazing. Yes. That sounds fantastic idea.
Yeah. And are they best eaten warm, Coinneach?
I do think it's amazing warm. Certainly let it cool so you can slice them. It's warm is absolutely delicious. But you know what? See, if I had that on a picnic or when I'm climbing up one of the hills on the island, I would be absolutely delighted as well. Now, you notice I didn't put any extra salt in it because the cheese should be enough saltiness for the dish. But if you do want extra salt, of course, you can season it as well. So,
or salty bacon.
Yeah, salty bacon. And someone's asked, Barbara has asked, how long do they keep without being eaten?
I have no idea because I've never actually had to worry about it.
No.
But I would say no problem for 3 days.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, freezing them works very, very well. But
Yeah.
slice it first makes it much, much easier. But look at the lovely colors.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You keep that in the fridge, wouldn't you? That someone's asking.
Yeah, keep that in the fridge.
Lovely.
So delicious, delicious.
Yeah, look great.
So just a
And
reminder.
I've got a wee tip for you. A wee tip for you from Marika. She said, wet the baking paper before putting it in the tin, and it will line up better.
I'm on it. I always do that. You're totally right. I didn't know if that was what you were supposed to do. So I'm so glad somebody said that as well, because I totally agree. I always do. That's why look how scrunched up it looks. You're totally, totally right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Pauline, marks out of 10?
20. 20.
Great.
Someone's also said, if Sadie has said, if you took the leeks out but used parsnips, it'd be dog friendly too.
Say that again. Say that again.
Take the leeks out but use parsnips, and it's dog friendly too. There we go. I can see a new line. I can see a new line coming.
You can see Shortis is very excited about that, but that is amazing. And to be honest with you, I love parsnips.
Yeah.
In my first book, I have a parsnip loaf.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so good. The only thing, you know, when you see a carrot cake, the sparks of kind of golden orange, people really like that. Sometimes the wee sparks of white, people find a bit strange. But if you can get past that, a parsnip loaf, oh, I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going back, I hope, to our Hufsie. So stay with me. Hold on.
Oh, look at the lovely oyster catcher. These flowers, Peter, tell us a wee bit about these flowers while we're in the intermission.
They're made out of Harris tweed, and it's a lady called Sheena from Harris that makes them out of tweed, and they're so like the flowers of the Macher. You can really tell that she grew up running through those flowers in the summer.
Yeah.
There's so much detail.
Gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. Well, as you can see here, our Hufsie is on track. Now, I would have probably wanted that to have cooled a wee bit more, but we'll get the idea for sure. So remember, that is the soft brown sugar, the butter, the black treacle, the mixed dried fruit, and the water that we warmed up, and then we've let that pretty much cool completely. That's a wee bit warm out, but you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So just to make it a bit easier on myself, I'm going to put that in a bowl. Now, I'm only doing it because there's 350 people in my living room. Normally, I would do all of this in the pan, but I'm trying to be fancy tonight. So I'm going to pour that, and it will help it cool. When you let that completely cool, there maybe wouldn't be as much liquid as it is there. You kind of want that to kind of congeal a little bit more, but we're nearly there on that. And there's not many ingredients left to go. We're going to start with our 2 eggs, okay? And they're going to go in there.
And I take it these are medium eggs, like the
medium egg, exactly. Yep. So the 2 eggs go in.
Great.
Okay. And then we have, now I've got the self-raising flour, which is 200 grams, and a teaspoon of baking powder already in. Now, just for a wee change, I will let you all know later in the week, but I found wholemeal self-raising flour.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I've used before, and I thought, I wonder what that would be like in the Hufsie to make it a bit more earthy.
Yeah.
But it would normally be just classic self-raising flour. 200 grams and an extra teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to go in there. Hence why I'm not sieving it. So that'll take a couple of hours. And then finally, it is a spiced tea loaf. So I'm going to get 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. Now, this is, again, I get a lot of queries over a lot of ingredients that I use from my North American friends. And a lot of people say, what's mixed spice? And I think, and people, again, if you just put in the thing, I often say to them, pumpkin spice mix, because it's definitely not allspice, I think. So if anybody else has any recommendations of how to describe mixed spice to people in North America, help, because I'm always being asked that question. So all we're going to do now is I've gone blind, and I really tried to not do too much of this. So I don't want it to be too noisy. So this won't take too long. I'm just going to mix it together. There you go.
Didn't hear anything. That was good.
Was it?
Yeah, it
Fantastic.
was silent, completely silent.
I have to say, I love my mixer.
Yeah.
This is not an advert in any way, but it's a dualage. And
Yes.
you know what? I love it. This is really sad, but the only reason I'm obsessed with is, I'm going to show you. So this is it here. Look,
Yeah, it's really good. Really cool.
plug goes in,
And you wind it up. Brilliant.
wind it up, hide it away. I mean, it's a small things in life that keep me happy.
Yes.
But that, to me,
Lovely.
that keeps my OCD very, very happy. So look at that. Again, this is maybe a little bit warmer, obviously, because so you can see it's kind of a little bit warmer than you would want it to be. But the texture is pretty much there.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, I'm going to use a 1 pound loaf tin. Well, 2 1 pound loaf tins. And I'm also completely obsessed with loaf tin liners. Pauline, what's your thoughts on loaf tin liners?
Oh, I don't know. I think I would. I don't know. Is there a sustainable way to do that? I don't know.
Well, that's it. This to me it feels like a treat to use
Yeah,
a liner.
Yeah.
But I do like a liner. I think, you know what it is as well? You know when you get cakes with gifts and that little kind of ribbed effect.
Yeah, they're lovely. Yeah.
There's something kind of old school about that I absolutely love. So
I'm sure there are ladies on this session though that would be able to knock one of them up quite quickly, you know, and before they make the cake.
I totally agree.
Crafty lot.
So there we go. So you're going to fill that obviously about half because, as I said, you're
going to share it with
if the batter tastes good, the cake's going to be good. So that is going to, now this is quite an interesting one. This is cooked at a very low temperature, 130 fan. Okay, 130 fan. And if it's a 2 pound loaf tin, I would say it's going to be about 45, maybe even 50 minutes in the oven. Okay, if it's in the 1 pound loaf tin, I think you're pretty good at 30 minutes. And that'll be in. Of course, there's lots of ways to test, but I do the test of, you know, I have this kind of metal thing that I pop into the middle, and if it's clean, then the cake is done. Even if it is just slightly good, if you're going to keep it in the pan to rest for 5 minutes, then you're probably there as well. So I'll be baking those in a second, but luckily for you, everybody here, I made 2 of these as well. And look at that, they're absolutely classic tea loaves. There we go. And you know what? If you saw my photo from the book, and again, if there is anybody from Shetland here, they can tell me, but that you must eat it slathered in butter as well. And of course, using Peter's granny's knife there as well. You can, of course, eat it plain. You can definitely eat it kind of warm, even though you want it to cool a little bit on the rack. But cold with butter on top. Oh my goodness. So that is a Hufsie. So let's give the Hufsie a try. And just while I'm doing that, I'll ask the question, had anybody heard of a Hufsie before? Is this a new recipe for people? I know you're probably thinking, yes, it's a classic cake. Oh, look how lovely that looks.
Oh, nice. I hadn't heard of one, but I know that I don't think we've got anyone from our Shetland. We've got a Wolsey Institute, and I know that a lot of the ladies there will have definitely heard of it. But that looks delicious. Yeah. Can you put it in the post? Can you get it in the?
They post very easily. They post very easily. So remember, this is a classic tea cake. It's not going to win awards. It's just with pretty much everything in my book. The goal of it is that A, it's easy to make. That's very important for me. B, you're going to have the ingredients in the house. I want you to kind of open your cupboards and go, oh yeah, I've got most of these things. Mm-hmm. But also things that you can imagine if your pal or your auntie comes around in the afternoon.
Yeah,
that they're going to enjoy eating these as well, and it'll make them smile. A lot of my recipes have stories behind them, like that this is from the island of Wallasey, or another Shetland recipe I have in book 1, the bride's bon, which is the Shetland shortbread, which is made by the mother of the bride on the day of the wedding, and she smashes it on her daughter's head, the bride's head, as she returns from the wedding, and all the guests try to catch a piece of the shortbread before it hits the floor. I really hope that you can, when you're serving these dishes, tell the story. With the Scots flummery, tell people that Mary, Queen of Scots, was halfway through a Scots flummery when she was whisked away to jail for helping Bonnie Prince Charlie escape. There's amazing stories behind so many fantastic Scottish recipes. And even if they're from a certain part of Scotland, so here we go. Lovely. That lovely warmth from the mixed spice. I even think it could take, I put in 2 teaspoons. I think it could even go to 2.5 teaspoons. I can get the warmth. I like a bit of a blast of mixed spice. But because you've got the black treacle and because you warmed the mixed fruit together, that's plump.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it? Because a normal tea loaf, you might soak the fruit, but like you said, you actually cooked it, so
lovely
difference. Yeah.
There will be times, of course, when friends come round and you're thinking, I can't be bothered getting into the kitchen. And don't worry about that, because guess what? Now, across Scotland, you can not only make my dishes, but I don't know if anybody's seen this yet. Please let me know if you've seen these in the shops. But I now have a range in partnership with the amazing bakeries, Stag Bakeries on the Isle of Lewis in Stornoway. They've been going for over 150 years. We spent a year working on these 6 different flavored shortbreads and oaties. We've got whiskey. I've only got 3 here. But I've got whiskey. I've got heather honey.
Nice.
And there's marmalade shortbread.
Oh.
That's the one. That is the winner. It's got little bits of mixed peel through the shortbread. It's absolutely amazing. Then I've got chocolate oaties.
Colette,
Lemon
Colette here is saying the chocolate ones are delicious. And Jackie said she saw them yesterday in a shop in Lochcarron. So there we go.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
I definitely make a cuter. These are chocolate. I've got lemon and ginger, and I've got mixed berry, which I have to say, I know you shouldn't have favorite children, but the mixed berry oatie is my favorite of the 6. But as you can see, myself and Shodas are on the front. I definitely make a cuter cartoon than I'm in real life. And then Shodas on the top.
Lovely.
And on each of them as well, there's a little Gaelic saying. So say on the whiskey one here, it says, is ook een koker nach imliche weer, which is, it's a wicked cook who doesn't lick their fingers.
Oh,
so yeah. There's a wee Gaelic saying on all these, which I hope make you smile as well. And they're big and hearty. They look like you've made them at home. That was intentional. So even if you want to pretend you've made them, you could probably get away with that as well. So that was the Hufsie. And I really think that should be just a standard in your repertoire. I think it's a real treat. So that is number 2.
Could you, sorry, could I just ask you, there a couple of people have asked if you just run through the ingredients again and the quantities. Sorry, it's just, I think people are writing them down, so if they miss something.
So.
Yeah.
So remember, in the pan, we had the 100 grams of soft brown sugar, the 100 grams of butter, the hearty tablespoon of black treacle, and the 200 grams of mixed dried fruit, and the water, but 150 mils, 125, 150 mils of water into the pan. And you're going to simmer that for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then let it cool pretty much completely. Add your 2 medium eggs, your 200 grams of self-raising flour, tablespoon of baking powder, and 2, maybe even 2.5. No, sorry, did I say 1 teaspoon of baking powder? I hope I said that correctly. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. Okay, all the ingredients. Then remember, it's going to go into a low oven, 130 fan. If it's a 2-pound loaf tin, for about 45 minutes, or if you're making 2 1-pounder, about 30 minutes each for that recipe. Okay,
that's brilliant. Thanks very much.
Now, I know this. This was sort of called budget bakes, but even when you're on a budget, you still want a wee dram every so often, or a wee treat every so often. And I have a chapter in my book called Afternoon Tea Recipes. You can actually make the whole afternoon tea section of this book. And it's got everything. I'm going to show you a couple of the recipes in this one. We've got Stornoway Scotch eggs. They are absolutely delicious.
Black pudding around the egg, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. Lemonade scones, which are the quickest, fun way to make scones. 3 main ingredients: self-raising flour, double cream, and Sprite or 7-Up. Please, I know, but they make lovely, fluffy scones. My Bakewell scones have gone down a treat. I did a demo in Las Vegas to 25,000 people, teaching them how to make Bakewell scones earlier this year. But the one I'm going to show you is a cocktail. This is Iona. She's the brand ambassador for the Isle of Harris distillery. And I know many of you who have visited have probably been to the distillery. And so we work together on just a really fun cocktail called a lemon curd cocktail. So let's give this a go. Get my shaker. So I'm going to use Isle of Harris gin, mainly because, oh my goodness, it's a lovely bottle. And I know this is a terrible thing to say, but I love the gin, but I love the bottle even more. So I want to empty it so I can put wee sparkly lights
Yeah.
into the bottle. So we're nearly there. But this gin is infused with sugar kelp. As many of you will know, all seaweed around the coast of Scotland are edible, and sugar kelp particularly is very good one to use in recipes. So this is for 2 people, the recipe. So it's 90 mils of gin. Okay, 90 milliliters of gin what's going to go in here. I'm going to cheat it just a little bit because I know how much my jigger size is. So that's 90 mils of gin. Then we want to get lemon and a chopping board. I love cocktail recipes that only have one alcohol. You know, you see a lot of cocktail recipes that are quite complicated and have also those fancy things in that you just don't have. And then you buy them and you use them once. So I like to have one that has one core ingredient, in this case, gin. I'm just going to take the pips out. Nobody likes pips in their cocktail. And so there's 90 mils of gin, 60 mils of lemon juice. Remember, this is going to make 2. Now, does everybody know how to make sugar syrup?
Kinda. Sugar and water and melt it, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I thought you were going to say, go to the supermarket and buy it.
No.
It is literally that easy. You would put double. So if, say for example, I've just got a wee bit there. Now that was 50 grams of caster sugar to 25 mils of water. Mm-hmm. And all you're doing is melting it in the pan and then let it cool. But you can keep that. If you make a big batch, if you've got lots of friends coming around, you can make a big batch of this. It's always double the sugar to the water, and that'll keep for weeks and weeks and weeks. So that is going to be 20 mils of sugar syrup going in, okay?
Would you keep that in the fridge?
You keep that in the fridge, yes. And then lemon curd. This is going to give it a lovely kind of creamy texture. Now, I actually have a recipe for lemon curd, and it's actually a lemon gin curd in my book. And lemon curd is so easy to make. I'm putting 3 in only because I didn't shake the. It is 2 tablespoons, but I didn't get all of it out. So that's why I put 3 in now. But it's 2 hearty tablespoons of lemon curd in there. Now, so that was 90 mils of gin. This is for 2, 90 mils of gin, 60 mils of fresh lemon juice, 20 milliliters of sugar syrup, and 2 hearty tablespoons of the lemon curd. Now, what I like to do is give it a shake first. Please hope that the top is on correctly. Mm-hmm. And once that's come together a wee bit, I'm going to go and get some ice because I want this to be cold, cold, cold.
There's a lovely colour. It looks like Advocaat. You know Advocaat and lemonade when you were a
you're right, actually.
No, you don't. And when you were a kid at New Year, and that was the wee tickle you got.
Absolutely. So you want this to be nice and cold, and of course the lemon curd to combine.
Lovely.
There we go. So that is ready. I have my martini glass here. I'm going to put it here. at the front. Look at that beautiful colour.
Lovely. I bet it smells nice as well. Does it smell nice?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I know a lot of you will probably, you know what's that thing when the wee things here are all tingly from the citrus? That's what it's like when you make this. But it smells beautiful. It's a beautiful colour. It's nice and chilled.
Lovely.
And cilantro.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's delicious and so simple to make. Sweet and tart. That should be my nickname, but so is this. And it really is absolutely delicious. And I have to say that obviously you get a lot of people like tagging you on Instagram when they make recipes. And that definitely is the one I get tagged the most in. This one, Coinneach pie.
Yeah.
Which is a big favorite of mine. I made that for Philip Schofield on this morning.
Yeah.
To a lot of hilarity. And my hot toddy bun cake. A lot of people are making those recipes as well. So that, if you want a wee treat or a big treat, depending on how big your martini glass is, that is absolutely delicious.
Wow.
So I really hope I've inspired you to get back in the kitchen. I know, remember, January was all about slimming down. February, we've forgotten about the health kick. All about balance, and those savoury flapjacks, the Hufsie, and the lemon curd cocktail. Hopefully this has given you a wee bit of inspiration to do many things, be it to be back in the kitchen, to come and visit the Hebrides. I always encourage people to get in with the culture, be it, learn a bit of Gaelic before you go up, find out about the musicians that are from the islands, but really hope you enjoy yourselves if you do venture up to the islands this year. Back to you, Pauline.
Lovely. That's really fabulous. So I'm just going to ask all the ladies to unmute so that we can all give you a lovely little round of applause and say thank you so much to you and to Peter. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think there's quite a lot of people saying super show, rapidly, someone said rapidly, which is nice.
Morning time, Coinneach.
Yeah. So lovely. Thank you so much. And I know what you're going to eat and drink after the show as well. So
there's going to be a lot of Hufsie over the next couple of days. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. And if I can just ask everyone here to just follow us on swi.org.uk. And then you'll see all of the upcoming events that we have. We've got a lot of other things. We've got Peter Sawkins of the Great British Bake Off coming in May, which we're excited about. So lots of different things. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much, everybody. Thanks so much for joining tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.